So, ladies and gentlemen, this particular class is a master class on Ketu and the transit of Ketu in 2025-26. 18 months of this transit, which has started from May 18th. Ketu has transited in the sign of Leo. Okay, we're not talking Rahu today. We'll talk about Ketu. But if you're using mean nodes, yes, 18th May, but a little later, around 30th May, if you're using the true nodes. So we'll be using mean nodes here for this particular transit. Okay, now, what exactly is Ketu, ladies and gentlemen? People say Ketu is exactly opposite to Rahu. Now, Rahu is basically the Karaka of rebirth. It's because of the Rahu that you get the rebirth. And Ketu is basically the solution for rebirth. Okay? There cannot be, the greatest of the Badaka than the Badaka of being a rebirth. You get a rebirth, it's the biggest Badaka of your soul. Right? It's the biggest obstacle for your soul that, oh, I have to take the birth again. And if you have a smallest of the desires, maybe a desire to go to Somanath, right? Or a desire to maybe learn Jyotish, maybe desire to have a small chocolate, you will have to take a birth again and come back. Right? So what does that mean? That means that, moksha is not about doing great things and bigger things in life. Moksha is about leaving small, small things in life. You understand what I'm saying? That small desire of chocolate, that small desire of traveling to a particular pilgrimage, that small desire of going to a Jyotirlinga, or a small desire of meeting someone, right? That, I mean, you can stay home, you can go vertical up without traveling. That's what Ketu is all about, right? So Ketu is all about leaving and understanding small, small things, right? With this transit of Ketu in the sign of Leo, suddenly you will start noticing small, small things around you. Suddenly, that research and development will come back to you, right? Where you start researching on the minutest things which are which is around you, which is that you see every single day, maybe it in office, maybe at home. Suddenly your mind would start programming that if I have this data coming from my employees, I want to scrub and analyze this data more, right? Where is the source? What is, I mean, if I'm generating business, what kind of, business is coming from what sources? So that minute understanding, of your work comes with Ketu, and especially when the transit is between Leo and Aquarius, which is a very powerful Saraswati yoga, right? So for next 18 months are extremely, extremely important for the people who are, who are in corporates, people who are in Jyotish, people who are in research and development, and people who want to change themselves, transform themselves completely. You see, you experience Ketu every day. I'll give you a small example. How do you experience Ketu every day? How many of you have had your dinner? How many of you had your dinner? You all had your dinner, right? How many of you had your lunch or a dinner, big plate, big, heavy plate, whatever, how much you can eat, how much is the capacity, you had it, not the light one, okay? Maybe you come from a party, maybe you are in a wedding, or maybe you're in a birthday party. So you had 20 things. Your stomach is like full here. Now I ask you, would you like to eat the same meal again? Your answer would be not at all. Not at all. the energy that says you not at all is Ketu. That's what is Ketu. You wanted the full meal, right? You were eating, 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 eating. That was Rahu. That was Rahu. But now you say, no, I don't want it. मुझे दिखाना भी मत खाना. I don't want to even see the food. I'm that heavy. That is when the energy that comes around you is the energy of Ketu. Same happens with, you know, physical desires also. You get married, you go to honeymoon, right? You have physical interactions, right? Once, twice, thrice in a day, in a night, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. And the sixth time said, no, I don't want this. I want a break for a day. At least I want a break for 12 hours, 15 hours. That when you don't want any physical needs also to be fulfilled, that is that feeling that you get on daily basis is Ketu. I don't want this. I'm done. I seriously don't want it. Give me some time. Give me a break. That's what is Ketu, right? You are on the deathbed and you all have got all the money, and then a business deal comes to you that would you like to, deal? We have another 5,000 crores deal, and doctor says you have only 3 days left. You are at that stage of your body that you'll not survive more than 1 week, max 3 4 days. Would you like to do that 5,000 crore deal? Are you interested in doing that sale? Right? The answer is big no. That particular time, that feeling that you get is Ketu. You see, the requirements of the body is with Saturn. The requirements of the mind is with Rahu, right? So you need food, Saturn tells you you need food. What happens when you are hungry? The air keep moving in your stomach. It's not the blood, it's the air in your stomach that says I'm hungry. And that is why you start burping at times, you start farting at times because your stomach is hungry. It's the air in the stomach that tells you that you're hungry. The oxygen in the stomach that tells you that you're hungry. But if you're paralyzed, the vata is not correct, the vata is not working, you don't feel hunger. It's the air. It's the circulation because of the air that makes you hungry. That's what Saturn is all about. But it's the circulation of air in your mind that technically makes you desire things. I want this in my life. I want that in my life. That's coming from Rahu. So technically, we are in a very bad circle. But Ketu is the karka of freeing everything. It's moksha. Now, I'll tell you a very special technique today to understand Ketu. You will write star, 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 3, 4, 5, 6 points about Ketu. Once we gather those 3, 4, 5, 6 points, we will apply on various lagnas from Aries to Pisces, right? And you will understand your own transit, about this Ketu. You see, this technique that I'm going to teach you today, you have never learned, you've never seen this anywhere. You see, Mars is technically responsible for death. Okay? Even in medical astrology, we say Mars is responsible for death. Remember this. People who know longevity, they will also, if you know the concepts of longevity, the biggest marka in the longevity is basically Mangal, Mars. Okay, so let's divide our week into into two parts. We have Sunday, we have Monday, okay, and then we have Tuesday. Okay, now listen to this very carefully. Okay, Sunday is your birth at the Bhuloka. The soul enters the body. Monday is your sustenance. You sustain on the Bhuloka because of the moon. right? So sustenance is because of the Chandra, and you die because of Mars. Tuesday gives you death. All these three combinations are at Bhuloka. Bhu is Mother Earth. Then is Wednesday in between. Okay? Wednesday in between. And Wednesday is basically the message of God. It is transition. ध्यान से सुनना. You'll understand the real meaning of Ketu, and you'll understand the meaning of this transit on your horoscope. And then Thursday, which is Jupiter. Okay, so Jupiter, Thursday, I would say Jupiter is the birth at Swargaloka. It's in the heaven. Okay, Venus, which is Friday, is sustenance at the Swargaloka. Sustenance at the Swargaloka. And Shani, which is Saturn, or you can say Saturday, is the death. It's the death at the Swargaloka. Death at heavens. You see, what I'm trying to tell you here is that in between this combination, you will find Ketu here and you will find Rahu here. Okay, so Ketu here and Rahu here. So you're born on Bhuloka, you sustain on Bhuloka, you do your karmas, Mangal gives you death, and then Ketu decides your transition. Ketu says, well, Mr. Chitkara, you're going back. Okay, you're going back. You're not going ahead. You will not get Mercury. You will not get this transition. The transition is to go back. And you're not going to the Swargaloka. But then Ketu says, okay, you go to the Swargaloka. He sends you here. He sends you to the Swargaloka. You start enjoying, knowledge. And then Venus kicks in. You sustain that knowledge because of Venus. But then there are more desires, which Rahu. And Rahu kills you through Saturn. And then you are in that vicious circle of Swargaloka and the Narkaloka and the Bhuloka. And at times people say there is Swarga and Narka on the earth itself. On the earth itself. It's right here. When you're living a great life, it's the blessing of the Jupiter. It's the blessing of the Venus. But after that great life, right, you go to Rahu and you're back to the square one. Having those difficult years and difficult lives again on the Mother Earth. And in between here, it is the Ketu. And that is why you see Ketu in Sansara is the most malefic planet. But Ketu in the sun, in the Sannyasa, is the highest benefic planet, in the universe. You see, when I talk to you that, hey, tell me the list of, benefic planets for Sansara, for this world. Tell me the planet that you'll write on the top. The first planet, the most benefic planet in the Sansara is Jupiter. Okay? And then the second benefic planet on the Sansara is Venus. But when it comes to sannyasa, leaving small things and going away from the situations, the highest benefic planet is Ketu, number 1. And number 2, it will be Jupiter. So for sannyasis, it is not the Jupiter which is highest benefic. It's the Ketu. And for Sansara, it's Jupiter and Venus. And all those other planets that you see, like Rahu and Mars and Sun, right? And Saturn, all these planets here, at sannyasa level are pretty far away. We're not even thinking of it. Here, all these planets are considered malefic, Rahu, Mangal, Saturn, Sun and Saturn. But Ketu is one planet which is going to give you highest level of fearlessness, which sannyasis have. And you know what? So what have you learned till now? Just 2 points. One, the first point is I'm using the word small, small things. When I say small, small things, means micro things. Okay? Micro. I'll use this word micro, or I'll use the word research and development. That's how, Ketu is known in this entire universe. Okay? Second one is freedom. Sannyasa is freedom. So, in whichever house it is transiting, right? Number one, it is going to give you microanalysis. Number two, it is going to give you research and development. Number three, it's going to make you freedom. It's going to make you free. It's going to give you freedom, and it is going to give you fearlessness, right? Because sannyasi has no fear. So I'm just giving you points. I'm just giving you you know certain data points to understand the transit. Now, point number three is that what, in this samsara you can go to any direction. You go to a guru, you go to a teacher, right? You go to a temple, you go to a church, okay? You go to a gurudwara, or you go to a picnic, you go to a jungle and start meditating there, okay? Then you go to mountains, you can go to Kailash, huh? All these directions are taking you to earth. And honestly speaking, Ketu is nowhere. Ketu is nowhere. The only direction of Ketu is upwards. And if you want to go upwards, you don't have to move. You don't have to go anywhere. That's the message of Ketu. Because going to a temple is a desire. Going towards a Mount Everest or Mount Kailash is a desire. Ketu doesn't have it. That is why it is number one planet for sannyasis, right? And wherever you have Ketu in your horoscope, you have hidden fearlessness, you have hidden sannyasa in that house, in that bhava of your horoscope. All you have to do is you have to realize it. You are very, very vigilant. You are microscopically looking at that house in your horoscope wherever you have Ketu. You are doing lot of research. Look at people who have Ketu in the lagna. They will do a lot of research and development about their intellect, their knowledge, their lagna, their intelligence. They talk to themselves a lot. All the time they're talking to themselves, trying to understand these small microscopic things about their lagna. And they're not moving anywhere. They're just inside. So what you want? You want to move upwards. And you know what? Ketu is the Karka of Kundalini. Oh, now say, oh, how's Ketu Karka of Kundalini? I'll explain you in a very, very different way that you have never ever. And Ketu is also Karka of marriage. Ketu also has a significant role towards sexual activity at the sansara level, not at the sannyas level. Why sansara? I'll tell you right now. Let me make a chart for you. I just said when you have enough food, you say, I don't want more food, Ketu. When you have enough sex, you don't want sex, that's Ketu. Right? That's how it is playing a role. And how it is playing a role let me tell you by making a horoscope, right? I'll make a kundli for you, right? And you'll understand the deepest meaning of Ketu, its own house, its exaltation, and its Mula Trikona, right? How these derivations came into the picture. How did it get into those houses? How you are not able to, activate your Kundalini? Where are you stuck? Where is the problem? And how this transit is going to behave, for each ascendant. But I want to give you at least 25-30 minutes of time on understanding real Ketu and making some data points. So we've made two data points up till now, right? You'll get another set of data points here. So I'm going to make a Kala Purusha Kundli here, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So what is Ketu? This is home of Ketu. Okay, this sign is exaltation point of Ketu, and this is the office, the Mula Trikona, office of Ketu. Okay, what is Kundalini? Kundalini is that energy, that small light in the tail of your backbone, right in the Muladhara, right there. It's a small spark. It's like a small little bulb that you see, in the torch. That's what Kundalini. And the place of Kundalini is here in the seventh house. It's here. Okay. I mean, which is technically your Adhana Lagna. We call it as a Adhana Lagna. I think I've given a lecture on Adhana to you people already. I've given that lecture to you. Adhana Lagna, right? So Kundalini is here. And you know what? Here you have a Scorpio. Okay. How does Scorpio look like? Let me show you how a Scorpio look like. Why the the sign has a sign of Scorpio? What is the meaning of this Scorpio? So you see, you have a Scorpio like this. Okay, this is how the Scorpio looks like. Okay, that's how kind of, it looks like a Scorpio. Okay, that's how the Scorpio is all about. Okay, now this Scorpio that you see over here, has two biting, horns like this on the top. That's how the Scorpio is all about. If you can see, you see the left biting point of the Scorpio is Sansara, and the right biting point of the Scorpio is Sannyasa, right? So here is Kundalini. Kundalini needs heat. It's need, when people start, meditating and they get a guru, they start doing Kundalini, the first reaction they get in the body is heat. There's immense amount of heat which is generated in the body. That's the first step of Kundalini. Even when you're doing a mantra, even when you wore a Rudraksha, right? Even you're doing a sadhana, if the heat is released from the body, it is because of the Kundalini getting activated. The heat can be in the lower part of the body, the upper part of the body, on the head, in the middle of the head, wherever there's a heat generation, some vibration is coming. But this heat goes to the eighth house. Eighth house, okay, there's another thing, like this is like a day and this is like a night. Okay, so all the Dushtana bhavas are dark. 6, 8, and 12 are complete darkness. And all the kendras are light, it's shining, right? 1, 4, 7, 10 has light. and 6, 8, and 12 is complete darkness. So you go here, suddenly, you know, there is a Venus sitting here. Venus gives you romance. Venus gives you, that urge to be close to someone. Venus gives you that marriage. Venus gives you that partnership, that relationship. So suddenly, the heat that was generated by Kundalini suddenly reaches Mars. And Mars is a planet for sexual activity. And suddenly, this particular, the left, point of the Scorpio bites you, right? And you get into sexual activity, you lose your heat, and you are back to the square one with zero Kundalini Shakti. That's the human life. That's where you live, the day and the night, night and the day and the night, night and the day. That's how we all are living. Maybe 3 days, 7 days, 10 days down the line, somewhere this Scorpio bites you. This side, just a small, bite from this side, and you're back to the square one. You come here, right? You come here, but then, right? So, see, I'm not talking about chakras. We'll talk about chakras. That's why I don't want you to, write anything, because you will understand you'll get your answers yourself. So, so this is, where you don't even reach to that level of spark that can go ahead. Okay. And it breaks. It completely breaks here. But somehow, if the Mooladhara, supports you, you do your sadhana and everything, and you reaches to this particular, you save yourself from this particular pond, and you reach to this particular bite of the Scorpio takes you to sannyasa, right? It suddenly turns your momentum and it goes all the way up here, right? That's what the rise of Kundalini is. And then you get out of your lagna, right? But the only problem is that 99.999% people are between the seventh and the eighth house, whole their life. Everyone has that seed of Kundalini. Everyone has that, energy to surpass Mooladhara, right? And then go to the highest level. But the problem is, and right here we have this Ketu, right? Which technically decides after the Mars. Have you overcome the desire, which is Mars? If you have not able to overcome, Ketu says go back. That's why this is the home of the Ketu. That's why Ketu choose that I want to be in Scorpio. Because I know people will go back to Mars and Venus. People will keep going back to desires and luxuries of life. And I will decide whether you go up here or you go back, whether this particular side of the Scorpio bites you or this particular side of the Scorpio bites you. But it's the Scorpio. And that is where here you sit in the samadhi. Here you sit in that meditation and you go all the way up, all the way up. And that is why Ketu is also the karka of your lineage. Ketu is karka of lineage, unnati. Okay, so what is the shloka which is written in the shastras? Ketu nam pulastya unnati. Okay, that's the shloka. Ketu nam pulastya unnati. Right? That means that Ketu is also responsible for the lineage. So you get another data point here. Another data point here is your lineage. There is something that you are going to do about your lineage in whichever house Ketu is transiting. So microanalysis. So you've got research and development. You've got fearlessness and freedom, right? And about lineage. And also, there will be salt and sweet things coming in your life. Maybe there'll be a push and pull in that particular axis. So this is that, pull towards upward and exactly opposite is Rahu, pushing you into the bhuloka, right? So that's one another point uh, of the Ketu. And you know what? If you have Ketu bad in your horoscope, Ketu is not very balanced in your horoscope. The problem with the Ketu is that you are still interested in sexual activities and women, which is Mars and Venus, right, till your old age. I've seen people at the age of 65, 70, 75, having an eye on a 25-year-old or a 30-year-old. And our daughters and granddaughters are not safe in the, in maybe in the presence of such people. I've seen such shameful people coming to me where Ketu was not very well placed, especially in certain charts, certain divisional charts. Although Ketu completely takes off your libido after the age of probably 60, 65, if you are really into sannyasa, if you're really going towards that Kundalini Jagran and you're generating heat and taking that heat higher, higher, higher slowly and not releasing that heat through Mangal and Venus. That's one, Ketu activates. So, Ketu is also known as vision. Now, I'll tell you how Ketu is known as vision. You see, there are three planets that belong to Agni. Okay, there are three planets. One, the major planet is Sun. Then we have Mars, the Agni Tattva, and then we have Ketu. You see, Sun gives you that vision towards samsara, towards knowledge, towards earning money. How will you earn money? That is why we see Kubera, which is fourth from the Sun. Okay, so Sun gives you vision to live in this Kali Yuga with knowledge, with the way you can earn the money. All the Vedic Jyotish that you are learning right now, the source is coming from the Sun. The vision of each astrologer is based on how powerful is the Sun in the horoscope. That's the vision. Now, Mars is the protection. It is basically vision of your protection, right? That, okay, this is how I can protect myself, my family, my assets, my money, everything will be protected by Mangala. The Mangal inside you protects everything. Mangal inside you protects your lagna. That is why Mangal is the first lagna, Aries, right? On the same time, so if this is astrology, Sun is astrology, which you all are learning, the knowledge, then what will be Mars? What will be Mars? Mars is palmistry. Okay? Mars is reading forehead. Okay? Reading moles on the body, reading birthmarks on the body. You see, if you open, BPHS, there is a complete chapter that talks about moles and signs of the body, and it talks about a lot about females as well. That there is a Vish Kanya, there is this Kanya, high libido, low libido. See, I will not be teaching you that lecture because I feel little ashamed looking at certain shlokas there, right? And I don't want to judge a female in Kali Yuga because you people will start judging, a female with a mole or maybe a female with that, sign on the forehead or somewhere. But last 1 year, I was learning palmistry. I was learning how to read a forehead. I was learning, how to read certain signs. It is Mars activation. It is Mangal activation. And Ketu is all about spirituality. It is spiritual Jyotish. It is spiritual Jyotish. It's the vision of a, spiritual Jyotisha. So Sun is that technical Jyotish with the knowledge. Mangal is palmistry knowledge, right? And Ketu is spiritual Jyotish knowledge. And spirituality doesn't require any senses, to be very honest. It doesn't require any senses. So technically, Ketu is also a point where you will get vision. That's another data point, right? Because that is how Ketu is associated with Agni, right? Why? because it is here. It is Mars, which is giving Agni. It is the Surya, which is giving Agni, although they are in the watery signs, right? But because it requires emotions. Astrology requires emotion. To sustain on this planet requires emotion, right? To understand protection, it requires emotions. On the same times, when you require spirituality, it requires certain amount of emotions. But on the same time, the job of the Ketu is to free you from everything, to give you that freedom. So here, the first freedom that Ketu gives you is the freedom of the body, right? When you just enter the sannyasa level, all the sannyasis are not bothered about their body, not at all, right? And then the Raj Jyotish asks Ketu that how will you not in the body, but still in the body. How you have gone away from the body, within the body, right? That, okay, I was looking at a small reel. There was this sannyasi, walking on the snow in Kailash. And I said, Baba, you don't feel that, cold? आपको ठंड नहीं लग रही है? He said, वो तो body को, that's my body, that's not me. He said that, right? So that how will you leave your body? How will you free? How will you become fearless with your body? You will become fearless with your body, Ketu says, with bhakti. The only way you can be fearless with regards to your body is bhakti. And you know what? There is a special formula that Ketu says. He says that I free you from the sixth house, right? So, eighth house free you from the sixth house. The ninth house frees you from the seventh house. The 12th house frees you from the 10th house. This is a formula, right? What is there in the sixth house? You have all your Shadripus, right? And Shadripus, suppose I have a Shadripu of eating sweets, right? Now, medical astrology students, listen to me very carefully. I want to have a lot of sweets. I want to have chocolates, pastries, whatever I want to have it. But then Ketu in the eighth house say, okay, give diabetes to Navneet. Tell him it should be a long disease, prolonged chronic disease, right? So that Navneet is free from sugar. He would not be allowed to have sugar. Even if he wants to have sugar, he will not be allowed. He would start saying, no, no, my sugar will go high. I will not eat it. So, Ketu, you want to have drinks, keep drinking, keep drinking. And Ketu in the eighth house, or probably not the Ketu, just the eighth house is the Karaka of long, prolonged chronic diseases. And that energy comes from Ketu because, hey, you are an alcoholic, I'll give you liver cirrhosis, you'll never be able to drink in your life again. If you drink, you die. You die. Your longevity is going to be hit. So Ketu, the first thing the Ketu gives is give you that prolonged diseases, takes you away from Shadripus, and then prepares you for the ninth house. And you can only be prepared for the ninth house when you are fearless and not feeling the body. You are only feeling the body in the sixth house. In the eighth house, you're not feeling the body if you sit on that right side of the Scorpio and you want to go into sannyasa. Now you're going to the sannyasa. The next thing, after you don't feel body, is the problem with the mind. It's the problem with the mind. And who can take care of mind? Right? Who can make you free from the mind? The only planet that can make you free from the mind is Jupiter. Right? But there are two forms of Jupiter. What is Jupiter, by the way? Knowledge. Right? But knowledge comes in two forms. Can someone tell me which two forms knowledge comes in? Two forms of knowledge in this world. Anyone who could tell me, just type there. Tell me two forms of knowledge that Jupiter gives you. Who wants to write the answer? There are two forms of knowledge that Jupiter has. Anyone who wants to type the answer? Wisdom, practical, memory, learning. No, you're wrong. You all are on the wrong path. You're not thinking. The only two forms of knowledge that Jupiter have, or two forms of knowledge Jupiter have, is Shiva and Vishnu. Is Shiva and Vishnu. Right? So what exactly is Shiva? What exactly is Shiva? Shiva is a form of knowledge. Right? And since it is coming from a guru, so Shiva becomes the Param Guru. So Jupiter, right? Jupiter, and then you write two, things coming from Jupiter, Shiva, Vishnu. And that is how Shiva and Vishnu are inseparable. That is how Shiva and Krishna are inseparable. Krishna says that मैं भगवान हूं, मुझे जपो. Pray to me. Krishna is saying pray to me because Krishna wants you to go to Shiva. Krishna says that you will become pure. Only then you will go to Shiva. Means you'll get ultimate knowledge. Shri Ram says, okay, say Ram, Ram, Ram. So that you can get eligible to meet the ultimate knowledge. You understand my point? So that is why Ketu is exalted in the ninth house, and the office of Ketu is in the Pisces, in the 12th house. And both the signs are lauded by Jupiter. So two forms of Jupiter. One form is Shiva form, the other form is Vishnu form. One form, the Shiva sits in the ninth house and Vishnu sits in the 12th house. So technically, it's the 8th house Ketu that frees you from the bondage of the body. The exaltation of the Ketu is Shiva that frees you from the foundation of the mind. And it's the office of the Ketu where Vishnu sits that frees you from the bondage of the soul. So body, mind and the soul. So when the soul is freed from any bondages, you get moksha. That's where Ketu becomes the Karaka of the 12th house as well. That's where it's the Mula Trikona of Ketu. That's where Ketu becomes the Karaka of moksha. So Ketu gives you that vision. Ketu, wherever it sits, it's going to free you from there. Like Ketu sits in the 10th house. What does people do with Ketu who sits in the 10th house? People leave their jobs. People leave their offices. And they want to do something else. They want to free themselves. Ask anyone who has Ketu in the 10th house. They would not want to work at office. They don't want that working environment anymore. They want to free themselves. So Ketu works. Ketu is born in Scorpio, which will free you from the body bondage. Ketu exalts in the Sagittarius, which will free you from the mind bondage. And Ketu frees you from the soul bondage in the sign of Pisces, the last sign. But you know what? There is a lot of exchange in the 9th house and the 12th house between Shiva and Vishnu. The only thing Shiva is missing or lacking is in purity. Shiva doesn't have purity because Shiva also has tamas. The strength that you have in your mind is Shiva. A very simple word. You get up in the morning, you go to the temple, that strength, that vision, that knowledge to go to a temple is Shiva. You get up in the morning, you start your day with a cigarette, right? Even that's the tamas. That vision also comes from that Mahadev, right? Why? Because you are only picking the tamas and we are Sattva and Tamas together. Right? Now Shiva wants to free himself from the Tamas. So that is why Shiva keeps on praying to Vishnu. He keeps on praying to Vishnu. Right? And then Vishnu has purity. But the only thing Vishnu lacks is in knowledge. That's why, in the Pisces, Vishnu sits there and he wants a lot of knowledge. He keeps praying to Shiva. So that's the exchange that happens between Vishnu and Shiva, the two forms of Jupiter. That's why it is 9 and the 12th house. And that's why Ketu plays a major role in Sagittarius and Pisces. Ketu gives you that vision, that micro analysis. Where is my tamas? You will research. If I have diabetes, what are the alternative ways of eating sugar? I said, okay, I will not eat this also now. And that's when Ketu wins. Chalo, iska meetha to chuta. Now he's not going to eat sugar. It's over. He doesn't have sugar. He can't eat it anymore. That's how he gave you moksha through your sugar. He forced it on you. And then from bhakti, you start meditating. You see, if you meet any Vaishnava is very pure, but he would want to learn Jyotish. He would be very excited to see books and knowledge. You go to ISKCON temple, they are doing Hare Krishna Mahamantra all the time. But when you talk Jyotish, they will feel fascinated. They want to learn. These are the qualities of Vishnu. And when you go to any Shiva guy who is a great devotee of Shiva, what would be his requirement? He would want to clean himself. He want purity. He want isolation. He'll be attracted towards Shiva. He will be attracted towards knowledge. Knowledge of purity. Protection. Shiva doesn't have protection. Shiva does not have protection. Vishnu has protection. So that is why Shiva is saying Ram all the time. And Ram is saying Shiva all the time because they are asking for things that they don't have. And when you ask Shiva, the overall consciousness is Shiva. Of doing good and bad, leaving and not leaving, here and there, you, me, everything is Mahadev. Because that is the consciousness. वो जन्मे भी है अजन्मे भी, वो उसमें गुण भी है निर्गुण भी. Everything is Mahadev. But in between, there is a protection for everything. That comes from Vishnu. That is why Vishnu becomes the sustainer of this world. And all these houses, the 8th house, the 9th house, the 12th house, they all belong to Ketu. Because he wants to free you from all sort of bondages. From the body, from the mind, from the soul. True. Now, body is also one thing. Who give you body? Mother? Mother gives you body. When you die, where do you go? You go to Mother Earth. You are dissolved in the Mother Earth. So our life starts from Mother. Our life ends with the Mother. So Ketu says, the bhakti that you want to do, if you want to leave the body, it's the bhakti of Das Mahavidya, Durga, Mother, Devi. Devi sadhana. Ketu is talking about Devi sadhana. You know what? How many of you from last 3-4 days, when the Ketu has already transited in the sign of Leo, suddenly have some inclination towards Devi, some inclination towards Durga, some inclination towards, or probably this transit have started working 3 months ago. Whenever these Rahu Ketu, because they are Chaya. So look, Chaya is already there on my hand before even it is touched. So these transits work 3 to 6 months prior. Suddenly you people will have that strong inclination towards Devi. Durga Devi sadhana. That is where this Ketu and Rahu is really, really, you know, taking you towards that freeness from the bodily bondages. And now let's see each lagna. So how many data points you've got? 6, 7 data points. First data point was microanalysis, research and development. Okay. Second data point was Ganesh is saying Durga Stotra. Second data point was what? What is Ketu all about? Freedom and fearlessness. Third data point, I've written them all here, right? So you see, the third data point is lineage, right? Vision, push and pull, right? And Durga Devi sadhana, right? Suddenly going upwards, and when you say upwards, you want to raise the status. You want to raise the status in which the Ketu is going. Okay, let's start for Aries Lagna. Aries Lagna, right? Aries Lagna, Mahalakshmi Temple. Wow, right? Aries Lagna. So this is 19th May, Aries Lagna. So Ketu is going to transit in the fifth house. So this is for Aries Lagna or Aries moon sign. We can take it. So mental and physical impact. So I am taking it from the Lagna as of now. So Ketu in the fifth house. For all the Aries Lagna people, you would suddenly realize that I have become, you know, I'm inspecting my children at micro level, right? Suddenly I want, to understand what classes they're doing, what classes they're going, right? I want to understand my skills. I want to understand the fifth house. मैं कौन-कौन से मंत्र कर रहा हूँ, right? And I will write down that, how many times I am doing, right? Suddenly, the fifth house is also your, punya karmas, right? Suddenly, the punya karmas will come into the picture. You will have some great lucks coming your way. Some good luck will keep coming, right? On the same time, you will also be free from the fear of romance, children, and mantras. Suddenly, you will have no fear that I missed this mantra. I'll say, okay, I'll do more. I'll do it in the advance. Fifth house is romance. Suddenly, people would have negative, relationship breakups. Earlier, you were so scared to leave someone because fifth house is all about love and romance. Suddenly, you will say, okay, it's not good. Thank you very much. Goodbye. So I've seen Aries people coming up and saying, Guruji, we had a breakup. Suddenly you would want to, you want your children to be of their own. वो अपने आप में कुछ करने लग जाएं. You would send them to a school or a college, maybe on a cycle. Maybe you said, okay, go on a cycle. Or maybe talk to your teacher yourself. Trying to make your children self-independent. That is what is going to happen with Aries Lagna. Anyone who's got Aries Lagna, who have these feelings of making their children, independent, making their love life a very strong and, fearless love life. And suddenly, since it is the eighth house from the 10th house, suddenly you want to micro-analyze your work. Secretly, you're telling your team members, hey, I want this report, or I want to know ये कैसे analyze हुआ है, what is the source, of different leads that are coming, what is the source of the business. All that areas, of Lakshmi Sthana, you would start doing all the research and development with this Ketu. But on the same time, in the physical body, this is your stomach. This is your heart area. One has to be careful because you can be fearless towards your diseases, and because it's going to take you away from the body, right? It's going to make your mind stronger in the fifth house. It's going to make your soul stronger, fearless soul in the fifth house. But we are still in samsara. We are not in sannyasi. So being a sannyasi is not a one-day thing. It's a long process. But you start feeling like a sannyasi in the fifth house, that's where the problem is, right? So Here, it's a good transit for Aries, I must tell you, making a Saraswati yoga. For people, you know, who are Taurus lagna. So anyone who is Taurus lagna, right? So who is Taurus lagna for us? Our motherland, India, is a Taurus lagna, right? Now Ketu goes to the fourth house. What is fourth house? Comforts, right? What is fourth house? Matrabhumi, right? How many of you see reforms regarding property, property dealings that are happening, in India? We just got a reform in Noida. We got a reform in Delhi where the registration has to be done in the advance while booking, a particular flat or something. Major reform in the fourth house. And when you will have this, Mars going into the sign of Leo, right? You know what will happen? Should I tell you? You'll be little astonished. There are chances of demonetization again. I'm telling you, people. So if you have a lot of cash at your home or you have collected a lot of cash, right? Better you do something. In next 4, 5, 6 months, there is a possibility of demonetization of probably 500 notes. 500 रुपए का नोट बंद हो जाएगा. There will be currency changes that can happen. There are changes that can happen in the real estate. Oh, what is Vivek ji saying? Vivek ji is saying RBI has recently given a circular to increase 100 and 200 rupees notes in the ATMs. So now you're going into an ATM. You know what is happening? Right? What is happening? You are not getting 500 notes. You're getting 100, 200 notes more, which you were getting 500. Suddenly you will wake up in the morning, and this can happen from 15th of July to almost 15th of September, when this particular thing can trigger the fourth house. So you are going to make reforms about your property as an individual. Talked about the country, I'm talking about reforms, fearless things about the property. Maybe you were looking for buying a property or selling a property. This Ketu will help you do that. You will say, okay, let me sell this property. I want to buy another property. I have a lot of debt on me. मुझे घर बेचने दो. I will remove my debt. I will get another property out of it. So मेरा घर भी बन जाएगा, कर्जा भी उतर जाएगा. I'll be able to get out of my debt and I'll be able to get a property also. Such fearless changes are going to happen in the fourth house. Great time for settling abroad for Taurus Lagna. Because you want to go abroad, Taurus Lagna, you'll say, okay, now I don't have that bondage of living on the motherland. Now I would want to go abroad. Let me go abroad. That's how this Ketu is going to make you fearless in the fourth house. You are especially going to, take some strong decisions about your property, about your mother. You will take your mother, you'll hold your mother's hand and say, let me go and take you on a walk. You're sitting whole day in a room. I want you to be self-dependent. Come work with me in the kitchen. Don't feel that you are old. And so Suresh is saying fearless laws with domestic issues, also illegal immigrants, ki mukti. It will be gone. That's what is happening with Taurus. Greater reforms are happening. Let's talk about, you see how these points are implementing on the bhavas. Let's talk about Gemini. What is Gemini? What is third house? Third house are your beginnings of life. You'll start with some fearless beginnings. There's someone calling you. Let's talk about particular things on the camera. You'll say, okay, I'll talk about these things on the camera. I'll start my YouTube channel. Third house is beginning of finances. Third house is beginning of transformation of the body. It's communication. Your communication is going to become spot on. Spot on. fearlessness. You will have vision about your finances. Suddenly you will develop vision कि मुझे अपने finances, I have to, make a list that this is where I'm going high, this is where I can save. I need to cut off. Maybe I have 3 cars, let me sell 1 car. I have two this, let me sell. I need to be in the limit now. And you'll become fearless about it. Anyone who has Gemini Lagna had suddenly started thinking about their finances? Anyone? Seriously starting doing research and development about their finances? टेबल पे बैठ के R&D कर रहे हो कि नहीं कर रहे हो? About your finances, about your communication, about your new things that you are supposed to start. So that's it, just started 2 days back. That is the vision of the Ketu. That is the vision of the Ketu in the 3rd house. He's overhauling his finances. You will overhaul relationship with your siblings. Suddenly you would want your friends and neighbors and siblings, you will go and fearlessly talk to them and sort out the issues. Be it a property issue, be it a finance issue, be it anything. If you are waiting for ear operation, ENT, if you have sinus, if you have problems with ENT, you'll get the treatment done. You're delivering something because you're going to be fearless. If I call you on a podcast today, Suchitra, you'll be like this. I'll come, I'll talk. That's what I'm saying. That's what is going to happen with Gemini. They are going to have new, fearless, visionary beginnings. And this will only happen if you first isolate yourself. Talk to your brain, talk to your mind, talk to your soul. Your communication is now coming from the soul. It's coming from the mind. But chances of bacterial infection in the throat, in the ears, in the nose, that's there with Ketu in the 3rd house. ENT problems would come. Okay? And you know what to do. The bodily thing, Durga Devi sadhana. Immediately start Durga Devi sadhana. See, Ketu is Agni. It's a general remedy for everyone. Start lighting a lamp in front of Durga. Everyone for next 18 months without a disconnect, and you'll see the results. And you'll see the results. If Ketu is transiting over my sun, I have Surya in the 3rd house. It's going to, if it goes on my Surya in the 3rd house, it's going to give me immense amount of knowledge. Surya is knowledge. You'll get fearless knowledge. You'll be able to deliver knowledge fearlessly. कोई डर नहीं होगा आपको अपनी नॉलेज को बांटते हुए. Sun is the karaka of knowledge to live in Kali Yuga. Sun is the knowledge of finances. Finances are Venus. Calculation is Mercury. The knowledge to set up finances is Surya. This is advanced Jyotish. This is advanced Jyotish. So you go to Karka. Ketu is in the 2nd house here. 2nd house is your family, your fixed assets, money, saving accounts. You are going to take major reforms in the 2nd house of wealth, family. You are going to become fearless. Hey, there is a dispute in the family. Let me handle it now. 18th May onwards, you're like a tiger, like a lion, saying, come on, let me see who comes now. Major reforms. If there's a surgery, if there's any problem in the family, you will say, let me take it. Let me take it. I'll get it done. I will take this person out of that shit. That's what Ketu is going to give you in the 2nd house. Family disputes, you are going to win. You are going to become like a fighter. Suddenly you will have that energy towards your wealth. Fearlessness towards spending your money also will come your way. I'll spend, I'll save. That's what Ketu does in the second house. You'll be fearless. I'll earn again. I'll save again. I'll fill back my saving account again. I can exhaust it now, no problem. And you will be able to. You will have vision towards saving. Suddenly, people would want to buy gold, want to buy SIPs, insurances, mutual funds. They would want to invest there. Ketu second house. Huh? Now Ketu for Leo, Ketu goes in the Lagna. Tell me what is going to happen. Ketu in the Lagna. Oh my God, this is such a fearless situation. You want to talk to yourself and rule out certain things in life. You will rule out certain things. Either yes or no. Finish it off. Suddenly, your vision towards thinking, intelligence will reach to the next level. Suddenly, your research and development about your body will be so much. You want to micro analyze your routine, every single thing that you do. You want to micro analyze about what you eat, what you study, what you're doing, how's your image. That's what Ketu, and then Ketu will eventually, once you micro analyze, will free you from those bondages. It is a great opportunity for you people to start meditating and start getting into Kundalini. Absolutely great opportunity. Absolutely great opportunity. Right? And of course, they will do Durga sadhana and they'll be free from the diseases. For Virgo, Ketu goes to the 12th house. You know what will happen here? I'll tell you a very small secret. Suddenly, you will meet an astrologer or a Lal Kitab astrologer or a tantric who will tell you can smoke, you can drink, you can eat non-veg, you can leave sattva. That's what Ketu does in the 12th house. And you will do it. You'll do it today. Tomorrow you'll get brilliant result. And you'll start believing in that. You'll start believing that, अरे cigarette पी के तो पैसा आया. Or I did this, I did something wrong and I got the money. Because Ketu here makes you fearless towards your investments. And there are strong chances that you may do some wrong investments here. And then suddenly you realize, इसमें कुछ नहीं रखा है, this is wrong. And then you leave everything once for all. You become so strong, so strong. It's like Ketu giving you diabetes. It's like Ketu giving you that initial urge, because it is basically the 12th house. It's the house of losses. So you may lose your dignity for some time. You may lose your dignity. Once you've lost your dignity, then you will permanently leave that Shadripu and reach to the highest level. Because when Ketu goes into the 12th house, it will initially give you some loss. Initially will give you some loss. And with that loss of dignity, you will see, okay, things are better. Maybe I was studying, I have left study, now I'm feeling better. Maybe I was doing this, I've left this, I'm feeling better. But within 3 months, you will realize that no, it's not like that. Right? I have seen some funny people saying with Ketu in the 12th house, you should smoke every day, you should drink every day, and you'll get money. You see Lal Kitab, it says, but it is actually destroying the Ketu. Ketu is the Karaka. Ketu wants you to leave everything. Ketu is, because here Ketu is exactly opposite to the sixth. It's not the Drishti Sambandha, but it's exactly opposite to the sixth. Understand when Ketu is against Shadripus. Shadripus are attacking Ketu. That's where the Ketu can take a hit. If you were doing something 1 year ago, don't stop it. When Ketu was in your Lagna, you were doing some good things. You were talking to yourself, you were self developing yourself. Don't stop that self development at all. Because Ketu in the 12th house, can stop you from that self development and can give you complete sannyasa. Suddenly, people with Virgo Lagna, they talk a lot about leaving everything and going to sannyasa. The deep meditation will come later. But initially, that's where the problem will be. Be very careful about your investments. Don't do any headless investments. Your vision towards losses will be more stronger as compared to vision towards the right investment. Because Ketu wants you to leave under fear now. Of course, Ketu transit will help her. Of course. But it's not just the Ketu, there are other transits as well. Look at Rahu transit, gives you better answer. Okay. On the same time, for Tula, for Libra, Ketu goes into the 11th house. Honestly speaking, this is very powerful position of Ketu. Very powerful position of Ketu in the 11th house. Great vision towards the society. You will choose what are right people, what are wrong people for you. And you will get rid of wrong people from your life 100%. Or the wrong people will go away from your life. This is such a fantastic position for Libra that they will learn to control their hopes, wishes, and desires. They will have vision towards their hopes and desires. Suddenly, they have so much inclination about Durga sadhana, Devi sadhana. Should I tell you a secret? Strong chances if you're doing a Durga Devi sadhana, you may get glimpse of Ma Durga. You may get glimpse of Ma Durga when Ketu comes into the 11th house. Maybe in a small form of a doll coming you and giving you something. So in next 18 months, if a small doll comes and asks you anything, give it. Give it. It's going to be fantastic. Definitely there'll be decrease in hopes, wishes, and desires for sure. You'll get liberation. You'll get mentally very strong. It's a natural Badak, and Ketu is going there. Please be careful when you're talking to any rishi or a muni or a guru or a mahatma. Do not take any unwanted curse from them because Ketu is in the 11th house. Be very careful while talking to your gurus and teachers. For Scorpio, it is going into the 10th house. Beautiful. Beautiful. You'll get your dream job here. And dream job was something that you're not doing from last 10 years. You thought that one day I'll do this, I'll leave everything and I'll go somewhere and start something. That's what is going to happen with Scorpio people. They would start thinking कि मुझे कुछ करना चाहिए. Should I do this? मैं ये course करूं? मैं ये जाऊं? Maybe I can do this. Maybe I want to leave what I was doing and want to do something else. It is going to make you totally fearless. 10th house is from we also see the marriage. Trust me. The most important houses are 2nd, 7th, 10th, and 11th, which I'm going to teach you on this workshop that we're doing on Saturday, Sunday. And I'll tell you the importance of Ketu in the marriage. Huge. Huge. You're going to take major decisions, and those decisions will be right for your job, for your work. Superb. Ketu in the 10th and the 11th house is absolutely superb. For Sagittarius, it's going to go in the ninth house. You are going to make fearless long distance travels. You're going to have vision about long distance. You're going to have vision about dharma, knowledge. Your mind is going to become extremely strong for next 18 months. You'll suddenly become devotee of Vishnu. Because Shiva sits here, Shiva prays to Vishnu. Suddenly you will have inclination towards going to Vishnu, towards Krishna, towards going and joining ISKCON, probably going to any other institution where Vishnu is prayed. People with Sagittarius Lagna have already started visiting Tirupati, or they will plan to go to Tirupati. I have my students with Sagittarius Lagna, they have already in Tirupati from last 2 days. That's how Ketu has started giving them that Vishnu blessing in the ninth house already. And it's time to go to Venkateshwara. If you have not gone for a long time, pack your bags and go. You'll get that fearless guru. It's like it will also take you above from the guru where you say, okay, I want that ultimate guru Shiva and I want liberation. And this time you start working on the mind. Sagittarius people would start working on the mind. Capricorn people would start working on their body. Ketu in the eighth house. Suddenly you will have inclination towards transforming your body. You'll become fearless about these transformations. You'll become fearless about running, jogging, going to the gym, working out. So this is something that is going to happen with regards to the eighth house. Eighth house is a complete transformation, a huge transformation. And then suddenly, if you go to the 11th house, which is Aquarius, it's going to have in the 7th house, marriage. If you were thinking of marriage, it's going to happen now. Anyone who's waiting for Aquarius and wanted to get marriage, you will get. Pramji saying, so true, Guruji. Suddenly my husband has taught to join gym, Capricorn Lagna. Absolutely. Major transformation. Major transformation is going to happen. You see, this is where Ketu gives that vision of being, getting into that transformation mode. So technically, for Aquarius, it's the 7th house. And Aquarius will have fearless partnerships, associations. You'll work on your daily routine. And for Pisces, it's going to be little difficult. Why? Because there are chances of bacterial infections in your stomach. The 6th house Ketu gives you bacterial infections. Short term, 17, 18 months of problems. But on the same time, it's going to make you fearless about your enemies. It's going to make you fearless about your debts. You may take bigger debts in your life. You were thinking that, oh, I don't want this 50 crores of debt. But suddenly when Ketu enters the 6th house, they say, give me 150 crores. I'll utilize and take it off. You understand what I'm saying? That's the transit of the Ketu. And that's the real definition of the Ketu, which I wanted to teach you people today in this special class, so that you can do. 8th house Ketu, can it be R&D for the work? Of course, Jyotisha, R&D for the work. You're going to become fearless about extended family, in-laws. That's what Ketu is capable of, and reaching to the highest level. How many of you understood this lecture in depth? How many of you understood the real meaning of Ketu? which you just think it's a moksha karaka. It's vision, it's research, it's microanalysis. It's going to the highest level. So I said it would be 90 minutes, and it is 90 minutes almost, right? So this is what I wanted to give you a special lecture on this transit. Yes, Shruti ji, you have a question?